the session Upleveling Web3 Gaming, a conversation with SuperVillain lovers and the Aptos lovers. We have invited outstanding guests who are leading the forefront of the Web3 gaming industry. Without further delay, let me introduce our speakers. Please welcome Joseph Lee, co-founder of SuperVillain Lovers. Next is Mo, CEO and co-founder of Aptos Lovers. Woo! Nice to meet you. And moderating this session is JT Lowe, partner at IBC. Thank you.
Well, thank you and good morning. We're excited to have this session talking about Web3 gaming and having SuperVillain Labs join us here. So please welcome Mo from Aptos, leading Layer 1 blockchain, and Joseph Lee from SuperVillain Labs. Gaming is an area that I think most of us are very curious on. Most of us here are gamers, and gaming is at an inflection point. There's a shift now into quality games for Web3. We're already starting to see a lot of games that launch there. And at the same time, users' demands for quality, high quality, interactive, immersive games continues to rise. In this session, we're going to talk about what Aptos and SuperVillain Games are doing to help games onboard and create the new next generation of Web3 games. Mo and Joseph will talk about how their games work with the tech stack infrastructure and bring new innovative elements to Web3 gaming. So first, I'm going to start with a question for Mo. And that question is, what are the biggest challenges for Web3 gaming? And what is Aptos doing to help resolve those issues through the tech and infrastructure and user onboarding?
It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you all for joining. When we think about the gaming experience, we understand that there are amazing opportunities for Web3 to help augment and create the next generation of gaming. But we've seen a lot of challenges, and we're going to get into that. But a lot of those challenges come from the gamer, paying attention to what are the opportunities. And so the most important thing is when you're creating an amazing new Web3 experience, a Web3 economy, you don't want the gamer experience to be disrupted. At the same time, the developer experience should also not be disrupted. And so, from Aptos' perspective, not only are we providing a high-performance network so that transactions can settle in sub-second latency, so your gaming experience is seamless, but also building those games is incredibly easy as well. So the tooling that we have out of market is some of the best in the industry. And in a way that, instead of focusing on the Web3 components, you get to focus on building the best game out there. And ultimately, together, now you can finally have a world where, all the benefits of Web3 can be brought to the Web2 gamer. And that's something that we're excited about at Aptos.
I'm going to ask the next question for Joseph. And what is your take on the Web3 gaming market currently?
Yeah, it's also since the both deliver the good aspects in terms of integrating Web3 into the gaming spaces. We also think that we have a view that Web3 gaming isn't just a gamified DeFi. So more than that, we are facing our ways to see how we can actually connect and expand the gaming ecosystem to the outer ecosystem, so that players can have more expanded user experience during the gameplay. And I think that's the beauty of connecting the blockchain inside the games. So also in our take of the SuperVillain Labs, we are trying to use the blockchains to benefit users, not only just issuing some NFTs and making them trade, but also to connect their gameplay data inside the blockchain side and getting the benefit from the transparency. And everybody's just moving to the starting points to bring the quality gaming to the market without having any kind of frictions of the previous blockchain that blockchain delivered.
What is SuperVillain Labs doing from a game building perspective? How are you drawing from your Web2 gaming experiences, industry know-how to build your next game for the Web3 platform?
So in our case, I think like first like with our like teams with the previous like game industry, we are like pushing ourselves with our knowledge about building some quality games to the market, as well as like connecting the like blockchain data into our item database. So that which means that we can like make them peoples to like have the like gaming assets on chain and without like having some like friction about the wallet creation because they can I think the like all of the things that really matters to the gamer is how we can actually like preserve the value of their like gameplay like their like time money and effort they have been putting into the game side. So starting from our first title, the SuperVillain Wanted, which is the idle game, we will be delivering how we are trying to like form the like seamless like in gaming the gaming economy from the quality games, and as well as like putting ourselves to the MMORPG experience to have more expanded like, use cases of the blockchain as well.
How is Aptos helping companies like SuperVillain Labs do that? Because obviously, game companies should probably just focus on the product and design. How are you guys making it easy for them, and how do you convince other companies to come onto your blockchain?
Maybe that's a question for you then.
And both, I
think
guess.
yeah, I think you both can answer that because
Yeah.
I think it's also a lot of people, a lot of companies or startups want to do it, but it feels like a big barrier. And how do you guys make it easy, efficient, and effective?
Yeah, so, you know, the most important thing is to start with a very strong foundation, right? Joseph and his team don't want to worry about will this protocol have outages? Will gas fees start to go up if there's virality in the gaming experience? And so the most important thing that we can start off with is making sure we have a very reliable, very powerful, and safe network to build on. And hopefully you guys feel that. And the second is when you think about all the performance capabilities, they have to continuously evolve. Ideally your gamer base is evolving and you're getting more numbers. And if that's happening, the evolution of the network has to continue to keep up with the demands on the gaming side. Today we support 30,000 transactions per second in real time with sub-second latency. Transactions fees cost a fraction of a penny. So putting all that together, it's one of the most powerful networks out there, if not the most powerful network out there in market. And so that's a good starting point for you guys. But that's not the only thing, right? Like when we came together with Joseph, Lucas, and the team, we saw something special in them. A team that has over 3 decades of experience. And we want them to take that experience of building games and focus on that. So when they give us input on smart contract standards, data indexing models, when they give us input on how they want that the gamer experience across multiple different games that they're building to exist, we're starting to build tools that make it easy for them to replicate this for future games. And so that tooling ends up becoming really critical, which allows us to get out of the way so they can take all the amazing years of experience that they have and build the best games in the world for Web3.
Actually, Mo delivered really good aspects, but also while we were like thinking about integrating blockchain into our game system, we thought that like around like 3 criteria. First was gamers cannot really bear latency because when they are like playing a game and getting the items acquired, if there's a like huge latency for the finality, it might be a huge burden for the gaming companies to adopt the blockchain because of the network issue. And unfortunately, Aptos had a subsequent finality. And also the other thing was the availability to scale. Because when we are doing the live service across the global market, we cannot really expect the actual user base that we have thought before, because there might be some user flow that we haven't really expected. So there should be a availability to scale, and in that sense, the scalability that I'm just providing and the parallel execution was really helpful for us to put the blockchain into our database. And lastly, the great thing that Aptos is providing as a technical perspective is sharing the same visions to provide the internet-grade UX. Because if we cannot really say that, hey, this is a blockchain, and you have to suffer from this kind of problem because we are using the blockchain technology. Rather than that, because we think that Web3 gaming market is getting bigger and bigger, but still we see a lot of gamers behind the traditional gaming. So to convince them to experience something in using getting benefit from the technology, we have to make them as to provide a rich UX that the internet is currently providing, and to like to deliver them the most more expanded experience that which can like blockchain can enable. So in that sense, I think Aptos is doing a great job together, helping us to set up the standards in like gaming assets, and as well as the like user experience as well.
How are you incorporating blockchain theories such as true ownership in your gaming?
So yeah, that's a really good topic, but as like blockchain is all about the data sovereignty, but also it was like pretty common sense that even the traditional gaming was like making some like trades among the gamers, but they were having a different like data endpoint. So on the game side, they can have the asset trading internally with the like gaming asset, like game goals. But when they are trying to like make some like trade with their own asset, they have to connect to different like marketplaces or eBay's or like even the Steam market as well. So we think that like this is just a normal like sense that gamers are expecting when they're like playing the gameplay, putting their effort, time, and money into their gameplay to create some like value from the gameplay. And also, so like blockchain is like making this kind of situation much more easier in a ways of like technology wise.
How is Aptos incorporating some of these concepts, not just in gaming, but in your overall blockchain that talks about transferability, data, transparency, security?
So these are really good points, right? Like you want to have a protocol that can actually support all these things that you just talked about. But not all of these things necessarily need to be completely out in the open, right? We invented something called veiled transactions at Aptos. So, if there is an asset on chain that you don't want to see it moving from party A to party B, you can veil those transactions. And so bringing even privacy into the fold as well. When you think about some of the points that Joseph highlighted, you want concurrency of those transactions to happen in parallel, right? Gamer A is not going to wait for gamer B and C. That doesn't make sense. So enabling parallel transaction processing, something we invented with Block STM, is incredibly valuable for gaming. But not only from a digital assets within the game, but also money that's moving within the game as well. Things like stable coins to help power those transactions. And so we work really across the entire sort of stack, not just the gamer and his or her experience, but all the pieces that go in before that. So as I mentioned, from a payments perspective, all the way down to all the mechanics that Joseph and his team might be thinking about. Going back to your earlier question, JT, it's not only the points around and the features that we have today, but really listening to the evolution of these game developers. And when I think about Lucas and Joseph and how far they've come along from their early days of building in Web3, they've learned a lot. And they've taken those learnings and helped us think about the tools that we need to continue to build out as well. And I mean, we were just sitting having coffee earlier today where Joseph was telling me about, how do we think about standards from like a digital asset perspective across multiple different platforms? How do we think about things like payments? And how do we continue to enhance data models so that, one day advertisement might be more interesting or discovery might be more interesting? And so really listening to our builders like Joseph and what SuperVillain Labs is doing and their evolution of the demand that they have within the gaming industry is something that we're paying close attention to. And we have an amazing team working on this. Folks like Vinayak are sitting in the crowd that's focused on gaming, along with other folks that help us understand these industry-wide opportunities.
And also, like there are some kind of like subsets that like gaming companies are pretty much like used to like, use inside the gaming assets. but it wasn't really common when we were using the Web 2 based like technology. But when it comes to Web 3, it is a little trickier when we cannot really like build the standards together with the feedbacks of the like builders across the ecosystem. And I think the good point that Aptos is currently like helping us is we are we were a little better at like building games, and they are built like, way better in building protocols. So like we are finding both a middle ground to how we can actually bring the technology right into the game side, so that we can like do more like fun things and more cool things to the gamers.
I think one of the challenges in the market now is the user interface, user experience. Obviously, it's a little bit more difficult than Web 2, and that impacts user onboarding and user acquisition. When do you see this problem being resolved, or what are you guys doing to resolve this issue?
It's a great question. So the user interface or the UX and the onboarding continues to be a massive challenge in Web3. From Aptos' perspective, we're implementing new technologies to help facilitate solving those problems. We recently announced something called Keyless, where you can log in using just your Gmail, your Facebook, or your Twitter identity, and coming soon, other future forms of identity, so that you don't have to worry about managing your seed phrases. And that's the last thing I want to worry about when I'm logging into my gaming experience and getting ready to have some fun. And so these types of things help alleviate the friction between the user onboarding that exists today. From an experience perspective, and I think we might get a sneak peek of that later in a bit, if you want to have things like randomized loot boxes on chain, how do you showcase that without having someone to wait to see it's randomized? Again, having a performance driven network allows for that gaming experience to be just phenomenal, right? And so together with these types of new technologies that we're putting out there, it just changes the way not only user onboarding happens, but the user experience within the game is phenomenal. And of course, keeping the gas fees really low, because all these transactions that are happening concurrently, you don't want to have to worry about, okay, my gas fees just went up. Do I really want to buy this asset, or do I need to transact? And so we've also implemented things like gasless transactions, and that of course helps immensely with with gaming experiences.
And also, like there are like different like pathway for the gaming companies to like onboard the user, because like the blockchain provider like Aptos, they are like delivering the like finest user experience that the current like non-crypto players might be feeling comfortable as possible. But in the game developer perspective, we need to tap the regular gamers to jump into the gaming spaces, because we are something like a front end. So we are delivering the Web 2 class gaming experience and making some kind of user acquisition through the gamers, and to make them just experience how does the future blockchain game might look like. And if they feel really comfortable with the backend technology, then they might be not worried about the cryptocurrency or the blockchain technology at all.
So given that our conference is happening in Japan, in Asia, and Asia has about 60% of the total crypto wallets in the world, as well as a large percentage of the gaming market and gamers in the world, what are your company's respective strategies? One, in Asia, for obviously Joseph, it's a company that's originated in Asia, so what's the plan for in Asia and how to reach outside the rest of Asia? And secondly, for Mo, a company that's probably not based in Asia, but probably trying to reach into Asia a lot more. What are your respective strategies in Asia and outside of Asia?
So tap the gamers in Asia, and because we see a lot of traction from the Asian gamer as well, because while we were servicing our community and preparing for the launch for our upcoming games, there was some traction from the traditional gaming markets like Japan, South Korea, or China, or the other Asian country as well. That was around 40%, and we see they were interested. Basically, we don't really think that they are just the crypto players, because they are just the gamers. So we are taking our ways to tap the regular gaming gamers by and it is not really possible if you are just like providing some like web browser-based games because it's crypto. So in terms of the tapping the like regular gamers, we are also like getting benefit from the existing like gaming platforms like Google Play or App Store, and also like discussing with the other like platform front, so that we can like get more like players to have a look into our upcoming games without like the like creating a wallet, for example. They can just jump into the game, and actually it is a little like technical, but the current structure that Aptos are providing in terms of the account system, we are getting benefit of the like object inventory as well, because like we thought that basically when we started to jump into the spaces, we thought like it will be really beneficial for the gaming companies to provide the wallet feature without with having a social like always providing, but gamer, it was easy for us to create a wallet, but if we delivered this as a wallet feature, gamer were really confused about what is a wallet for the gameplay, because they might be experienced the wallet like buying and trading features after they do the gameplay and having the asset acquired inside their inventory. So in our perspective, we are just focusing to like tap the like regular gamer in general to make them experience the game as a like forefront, and like delivering the expanded features to more like lock into the ecosystem.
Yeah, I'm listening to all the sound effects coming from that game. It's interesting to think about the numbers that you mentioned, right? Like Asia has been phenomenal in terms of willing to really experiment and explore new technologies very quickly. And so, obviously working with Joseph is a very easy thing for us and the SuperVillain teams. But also making sure that we have local presence on the ground in places like Korea, in other East Asian markets and South Asian markets. And so, we spend a lot of time making sure that we have resources that understand these markets, understand very specific industry verticals in Asia, and the nuances so that we can navigate. And JT, you're right. We're based in the Bay Area. It's a long flight to Korea. It's a long flight to Japan. But we invest our time and our resources and our energy to make sure we're on the ground. I'm on the ground. Our team is on the ground to augment the teams that are already in these local markets. But what ends up equally being valuable is as kind of supervillains, they take an approach on building a game that's going to be globally played, not just within Asian markets. We can extend our network of Western partners as well. So whether that be folks like Google, who we announced a partnership with called Game On, where game developers can can leverage the Aptos blockchain directly through the Google Marketplace. This extends reach for a lot of folks that are building in East Asian, South Asian markets to be able to tap into other global markets as well.
I think we've been talking a lot about SuperVillains Labs game. I think maybe now is a good time to do a quick demo to actually show people what the game looks like, so we actually have an idea of,
for sure.
of what this game is. Can the tech team, can you play the game demo, please?
Yeah, that was a really short video, but we try to like have the regular gamers in more like casual ways to like bring to showcase that this is a like typical gaming experience that you have been experienced so far, but using the on-chain database so that you can have the ease of like trading opportunities or connectivities across the outer ecosystem. So. And expanding to the more like deeper gaming experience, to the MMORPG experience, which will be held at the Aptos experience.
Yeah, can you talk us through what are your thought processes? What were your goals in creating this game? When's it gonna launch?
So first of all, like our like core teams. This is our like second take on the Web3 gaming spaces, and most of the core fans that we gathered so before were expecting, hey, these guys will be creating like immersive MMORPG experience. But as you know, like building a AAA MMORPG takes like more than 2.5 years, so we can't really make them behind. So instead, like we split our teams to deliver more like casual experience with having the like more like earlier gameplay, as well as the interoperability of the gaming asset they have been acquired from the gameplay, so that they can plug it into the MMORPG experience. So that was the reason why we started building the idle game before, and now we are having a pre-register period on both the Google Play and App Store, and we will be showcasing, we will be delivering this game to the global market starting at July 30th.
Now, another question from Mo is, if we step outside of the gaming arena, which is what we've been talking a lot as well, what other use case applications in Web3 are you targeting, especially out here in the Asia region, which we think is the most dense and most dynamic?
Cool. Yeah, I mean, gaming obviously a big focus for us, as we talked about. And although we don't have a gaming demo, we do have a set of different experiences that we're working on across the board. And I guess this is a good time to talk about this. We're hosting Aptos Experience in Korea during KBW, September 5th and 6th. So 20% off to get your code before I answer your question. So you can come experience all the cool things that we're building. And beyond gaming, we think about the different industries that Web3 can have an impact on. And when you kind of put gaming as one category, we look at media and entertainment, we look at social, and we look at the world of finance. And with media and entertainment, we spent a lot of time with partners understanding the challenges in that space, whether that be things like IP rights, monetization and royalty tracking, to how do you think about connectivity with partners or with your end users. One of our partners that we've been working with for a while understood that, NBC Universal. And we just announced our partnership with them 2 weeks ago, where we're going to be going through that life cycle and helping them rethink the entire media and entertainment industry with one of the largest companies in the world. We're also working with some Asian companies like Lotte Group, where we're exploring some of this as well. So taking a global approach with media and entertainment. Within social, we're thinking about, again, the connectivity between individuals that are playing games, folks that might be watching content. There might be overlap. How do you reach those people? Today, social networks connect those people through centralized services or centralized products. Coming from Facebook, we understand how those products should evolve. And we're working closely with some partners along, and there's some exciting news to hopefully come there. And then within finance, of course, if you think about digital assets, of course they can exist as NFTs within a game. But when you think about money, when you think about financial products, they stand to benefit the most. It's a massive market. In fact, a few weeks ago, I was in Paris on the stage with Franklin Templeton, a $1 trillion asset manager. And they're thinking about how to issue a money market fund on a public permissionless network in a way that it lowers the cost and increases distribution opportunities. And so we're excited about very large financial institutions globally that can take advantage of Aptos as a network, just as the way that SuperVillain Labs and gaming and these other industries are evolving and taking advantage of the Aptos network as well.
Yeah, I think it's definitely really exciting times, and I really see through Web3 the almost like a perfect merger of financialization and gamification, where the finance industry is becoming more gamified, and the gaming industry is actually getting a little bit more financialized. We have about 1 minute left in our talk, so I would love to hear any closing comments you guys would have, just like 1 or 2 sentences on how you see the Web3 market going forward for each of your companies.
Yeah, I can go first, and you can have the closing remarks. I think it's a great point that you just mentioned, JT. Financialization has always been a big part of all of these industries. You just don't necessarily understand it or think about it. And when you look at a gaming economy, how many of these assets are scarce, right? And how do you actually trade those assets? you would have to, kind of do it in a very roundabout way. Web3 allows you to do it very safely, very transparently, and Aptos as a network is designed to make that happen at scale for billions of people, and we're excited to obviously work with Joseph and his team, among others, to make that a reality.
And yeah, and also like now I feel like the market is moving forward, not just for the like crypto standpoint, but also in the regulatories or also the finance and also the entertainment as well. So I think now we will be seeing some like really good use cases to open the market much more wider, and hopefully we can be we can be the like first part of it by the collaboration with Aptos and the gaming market as well.
Thank you both for your comments. If any of the audience would like to speak with Mo or Joseph, they will be around here as well as in the speaker lounge. So please come look for us. Thank you for the content, sharing your experiences and your insights. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone, once again, please give our guest speaker a loud applause. Thank you.